What's up everybody? My name is Jonathan. Welcome back to the channel. I have a really exciting video for you today. Today we're gonna be going over the most portable and affordable 8K content creation setup. I mean, we're gonna be using the iPad Pro, but this is not the 2020 iPad Pro. This is the 2018 iPad Pro, and that's what we're gonna use in order to create some content. And what we're gonna be shooting with, we're gonna go over here in a minute. But first, I just wanna put up a quick disclaimer. At the time of this video, Lumafusion is not allowing me to export an 8K video. So if you're not watching this video in 8K, that's why. I was only able to export in 4K. However, it does allow you to edit 8K footage. I just wanted to put that out there. So let's go ahead and not waste any more time and dive straight into this, beginning with the items. Now, all of these items are gonna be found in the description if you feel like checking them out or picking some of them up. As you can see, the camera we're going to be using is the LG V60. The reason why I went with the V60 instead of any other phone out there that can shoot 8K is because of price. Technically speaking, you can pick up the V60 for under 700 bucks. And if you go the refurbished or used route, you can definitely find it for under 700 bucks. Not to mention, with the manual video mode found on the V60, you can shoot in 8K resolution, unlike the S20, S20 Plus, and S20 Ultra. Not to mention, you have the quad DAC for playback whenever you're listening to recordings or audio that you recorded using the V60. You also have a headphone jack, which is a huge thing. I mean, there's a lot of features that are rolled into the V60 Thin-Q that I personally feel make it a better tool for content creation in terms of 8K video versus a lot of the other phones out there. Next up, we have the iPad Pro. Now, like I said, this is the 2018 model. This is the 12.9 inch. So technically speaking, I guess if you wanted to get the cheapest setup, you could go with the 11 inch because you can get it for like 100 bucks cheaper. But at the time of this video, the 2018 12.9 inch is going for like 600 or 700 bucks, and you can get it even cheaper used. Next up, we have a gimbal. This is the home gimbal. I talked about it in my previous video, so if you missed that one, go ahead and give it a watch. It's time coded, so you can find the spot where I talk about that gimbal and just watch that portion if you want. But this is a really nice gimbal because it supports more weight than the new Zhiyun iSmooth X. This is the Smooth X from Home. I think that's what it's called. And I'm gonna link it down below so you can check it out for yourself and read more about it. But it's under 80 bucks. That's the biggest reason why I went with this gimbal, plus the weight limits, and it's a 3-axis gimbal versus a 2-axis gimbal. Then we have the microphone that we're gonna be using to record audio. The mic that I chose is the Rode Wireless Go. And I did this for many reasons. Trust me, it was difficult to come up with this decision, but I think that this is the most versatile option for content creation. You have a lav built right into the transmitter, and then the receiver is so small and lightweight, and the battery life on both units is really, really good. Plus, the system is expandable. You can get things like a little handheld microphone adapter. So you just slide the Rode Wireless Go inside, and then you put the phone right on the end, and now you can do interviews. I mean, the system is super versatile, and you can expand it just by spending 20, 30, 40 bucks here and there. One thing I forgot to mention is if you decide to pick up the Rode Wireless Go and you're using it with a smartphone, you need to get the proper cable. This is not included in the box, and without this cable, it's just not gonna work with your smartphone. Okay, so moving right along, we have this little bracket. I believe it's for the DJI Osmo, like the original Osmo with the built-in camera. I can't remember who makes it, but I'll make sure I look it up and I'll link it down below. And then I just have a multi-cold shoe mounted on the end here. And it has 3 different areas where you can mount something. So you have a cold shoe here, here, and here. And this is what we're going to use to mount our microphone to. And then this is gonna go into the bottom of the gimbal. You'll see here in just a bit. And then lastly, I have a variable ND. I believe Rhino Camera Gear makes these. They're not very expensive, and it just clips right on, and it's really lightweight. It doesn't really cause any image degradation or reduce sharpness, at least not that I can see. And for the price, you really can't go wrong. So now let's go ahead and rig everything up. I'm gonna go ahead and take out the gimbal and just screw on this bottom plate. And then the bracket needs to be facing that way. So if the controls are here, the bracket needs to be facing away from you. And then just screw on the legs. Now we'll put the V60 in, and then we just gotta balance it a little. And now we can mount our microphone. So we're gonna take the gray end, plug it into the headphone jack. Now take the transmitter or the receiver and slide it into the bracket or into the cold shoe, my bad. And then take the transmitter and slide it into the other side. And I know you guys noticed that it has like a dead cat right here, and that's actually included in the box, so you don't have to buy that additionally. But if you wanted to pick up more in case you lost one, or if you're afraid that you're going to lose one, you can do so. And then you just plug in the black part of the cable into the receiver, and that's it. So as you can see, I'm inside the stock camera app. Now we'll go to video, and you'll see a little option for a microphone right here. That means that it's using an external mic. As you can see, if I unplug it, it turns to a different color. That means it's using the internal mics. So we'll go ahead and plug it back in. Now, if we go to the manual video mode, it's gonna start using the rear camera instead of the front camera. And with the manual video mode selected and tap on the microphone, you can switch from internal to external. So now it's using the 3.5mm headphone jack as a microphone. But yeah, let's go ahead and head outside, get some samples. This is gonna be fun. Yeah, let's do it. One of the cool things about this setup is I can set the camera pretty far away, and as long as I'm centered in the frame, I know I'm going to be focused, because I've learned that's how the V60 focuses. It's whatever's in the center of the frame. So as long as I'm in the center of the frame and I have my Rode Wireless Go clipped to my shirt, I can be as far as I want away from the camera and still get good audio. So this is going to be great for, you know, vlogs, for product reviews, or even, I don't know, just like run and gun stuff. Or if you wanted to interview somebody, you could do that. So yeah, hopefully this showed you a few possibilities that this little setup is capable of doing. Another really cool thing about having a mic that can detach, that you can clip to your shirt, is now I can be behind the camera to showcase how we went from having over 100-degree weather to a thunderstorm. Typical Florida. So what'd you guys think? Personally, I'm really impressed. I'm not trying to toot my own horn and say that I have excellent video quality. It's not that at all. I'm impressed that I was able to edit an entire 8K video on a 2018 iPad Pro. Not even a 2020 model. This is a 2018 model. That's crazy. Granted, there were some issues making the experience far from perfect, but it's completely doable. We'll talk about these problems in just a bit. First, let's talk about the shooting experience. Now, when I showcased this little get-up or setup here, in the beginning of the video, I said that it was the most portable and affordable 8K setup. I never said it was the best. And the issues that I experienced were really annoying and almost made the entire experience unenjoyable. The first of which is probably the worst. It's when using manual video mode. On the LG V60, whenever you leave that specific page or the manual video mode, even if it's to view a video that you just captured, it's gonna automatically reset all of your settings, such as resolution, white balance, ISO, shutter speed, and even the microphone input. There isn't an option to save the settings as a custom profile or anything like that either, which means that every single time you choose to close the camera app or leave manual video mode, you have to redial in every single setting. Not cool for efficiency. Also, strangely, ISO and shutter speed are linked, so if you wanted to adjust just the shutter speed and leave your ISO in auto, or better known as shutter priority mode, you can't. It doesn't make any sense. The only other issue I ran into was with autofocus, which I definitely figured out later on that evening. If you're not directly center frame, the focus will just pulse and hunt like crazy, or it just won't focus at all. It's definitely a pain, which is why I don't recommend shooting any on-camera content or A-roll content in 8K unless you have someone to help you out to make sure you're framed correctly and in focus. At least do this until you're better at determining whether or not you're center frame yourself. Now let's talk about the editing experience. Right off the bat, quick disclaimer, Lumafusion lets you know that the footage is not optimized for Lumafusion right on import. So by no means am I blaming them for the problems that I ran into. In fact, I praise them for developing software that, despite not being optimized, was still able to edit an 8K timeline and export it to a 4K video. Throughout my experience editing the V60 8K footage, I ran into a bug where the reference window would just turn black. To fix this, I simply needed to go back to the previous screen and then go back to the original window that had the issue. No biggie, but still not really good for efficiency. Next up, when trying to reverse one of the 8K clips, Lumafusion would just shut down immediately. It didn't matter which 8K clip, it was just an 8K clip in general, would cause a crash. Again, no biggie since most people probably don't even use the reverse feature a lot anyways. However, the big one was when exporting an 8K timeline. It just doesn't work. No matter what setting I used, I just could not get it to export. In fact, 4K was a bit difficult to export on its own, and I had to dial in specific settings which can be seen here. Regardless, I was able to make it work, and I could only imagine this experience getting better and better over time with each update Lumafusion receives. So shout out to Lumafusion for making a really great product. So this video is actually long enough. I know I was going to do like a walkthrough and show you how I edited this video, but that's gonna be like a whole nother video. And I also want to explain some of the other things that I use, like other apps, to help me achieve some of the things that I'm able to achieve when editing on an iPad. So if you don't want to miss that video, make sure to subscribe now and stay tuned because it will be coming up very, very soon. But if you enjoyed this one, go ahead and drop a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, drop them down below in the comment section and I will make sure that I get back to you in a reasonable amount of time. Follow me on social media if you feel like saying what's up, and I will talk to you fantastic people in the next video.